Today I want to have a look at how to range roll your clothes. So range rolling your clothes is pretty much the most space efficient way that you can roll your clothes, whether it's for your dresser or if you want to pack them for traveling. So we're going to go ahead and start with the smallest one, and then we're going to increase in size here. So let's go ahead and start with the socks. Also, you can follow along on the website with step-by-step instructions for all of these folds that we're going to go through. Link down in the description. So as you probably know, I like to roll up the socks like this. It's good for the socks and it doesn't really stretch on the elastic up here. So we're going to do the same for this tutorial. So go ahead and start out by placing the heel of the sock downwards. Then place one sock on top of the other one like this. From here, we're going to take the top sock here and we're going to fold it out 90 degrees at about the point of the heel of the sock here. We're going to go ahead and start rolling it up. We're going to start down at the toes, and you can roll it as tightly as you want to. Wrinkling up socks isn't really a problem. They tend to stretch out once you put them back on. So once you made it all the way up to the top of the sock's elastic band here, we're going to lift it up with one hand like this, and then with your other hand, you're going to take this stuff your fingers inside the elastic band here, and we're going to gently pull it down over the rest of the sock so that it's inside out like this. And you can make some adjustments here. It's kind of look like a little rose. If you want them to stand on their own, you can also just even it out a little bit on the bottom like this, and it should stand beautifully on its own. Moving on here, let's do boxers first of everything. We're going to have a look at some panties as well afterwards. But let's do boxers first of all. Let's start out by taking this elastic band here up top, and I'm going to flip it inside out like this. Depending on the size of your underwear, if you have big boxers, like thick boxers, maybe 4 inches, 3-4 inches. For these small boxer briefs, I think you get away with maybe 2.5-3 inches folded outwards like this. From here, we're going to split the boxer brief into 3 parts here, and I'm going to fold it from the side in 1/3 of the way like this. I'm going to take the other side and overlap it 1/3 of the way like this. If it flares out here at the bottom, this tends to happen a lot with boxers in particular. You can kind of fold it underneath. Anyway, from the bottom up, we are going to start rolling. You can also roll underwear pretty tight since they kind of stretch out on their own. Once we made it to the top of the roll, we're going to take one of our hands and we're going to lift up the entire roll like so. And we're going to take this elastic band and fold it over the rest of the roll. In the beginning, maybe you can do one side at a time, turn it around and flip over the other side as well, like so. If it looks kind of weird like this in the beginning, it gets better with practice, but a trick you can do is to stuff your thumbs inside and kind of stretch it out like this. And it should look great. These can also be stacked either like this, or you can lay them down. So let's have a look at something for the ladies here. I have brought out my sports bra. Here, and this is a padded one. Made a video in the past on one without the cups that you can range your roll up here. This one we need to be a little bit more gentle with. Same goes for your regular bras with the underwires. Gonna make a video on that another time since they can't really be range rolled. But let me show an alternative here. So I also brought out a little pair of panties here that we'll have a look at. So the first thing we're going to do is take the straps and we're going to fold them underneath. For regular bras, obviously you need to close it up first. And then from here it's quite simple, just flip it up like this. Underwear bras, again, you can do this. And then fold in the sides like this, on both sides. And you can just close the bra up. And if you wanted to hold it together better, put it in a bag, place it in your dresser. Ta-da! Let's have a look at one of these little panties here. So this is not going to work for if you have a lot of embroideries or details on the panties, but for something like this it's fine. So just start by placing it with the thinnest side facing up like this. Roll it up from the waist like this. Once you made it down about maybe half, 1/3 of the way, half, I'm going to split it into 3 parts here, and I'm going to fold one side back first. Make sure you hold on to it tightly so it doesn't unravel, and then we're going to fold the other side over it like this. And at this point, just gently lift it up. So what we're going to do here is that we're going to flip this underneath so that it comes under on the other side like this. And then from here, we need to open up the panties. So it's kind of hard to see here, but at the top here you can open up the outermost layer. So I'm going to fold the panties in here and stuff them inside. So like this. And from here it's just to roll it back out essentially. So we're rolling back out the sides that we folded out rolled up in the beginning on each side here. For these small panties, you need to be very gentle. If you're going to do this with regular sized, you know, your typical granny panties, it's a lot more easy, but it works fine for these two. I would stay away for this with thongs, then it's better to just file fold them, I think. So once you made it to this point, you can either place them in your bag, or you could, if you have one of these sports bras or regular bras, just place it inside, close it up. So if you have, for example, a thong or something, you can just fold it up regularly, place it inside. I haven't tested this personally, but a lot of people seem to like putting them inside like these little bags. Kind of holds them together nicely, and they will stand up nicely in your system. So let's do t-shirts next. Start out by placing it with the front facing up, and then from here we're going to again make this little pocket at the bottom like we did with the underwear. Since t-shirts are a little bit larger, when you fold them inside out you need a little bit more room. Go with probably at least 4 inches. Make sure that the backside also lines up nicely. Once you've done that, we're going to fold in the arms on both sides here. Once, twice. The trick is to make it lined up pretty nice and evenly here. At this point you can either split it into 4 parts or 3 parts. For t-shirts, I usually like to split it into 3 parts. We can do 4 parts on a long sleeve shirt afterwards. So again, folding in one side first, like so. And then take the other side, make sure it's nice and even. And fold it over on this side as well. So now you can see we created this nice little line down here. So I'm going to turn it around so I have the pocket down here at the bottom facing away from me. And I'm just going to start rolling it up. So with t-shirts, I usually don't like to roll them up super tightly. The reason is that they tend to kind of crease up if you roll them too tight. So be gentle with it. If you're just using it as an undershirt, whatever, you know, just roll it tight. One thing to keep in mind is that you need to make the pocket a little bit larger if you don't roll it as tightly. Obviously, it will take up more space as well. Once you've done that, lift it up with one hand, and we're going to again flip over one side first. And then just take your free hand, turn it around, and do the other side too. Like this. Again, if you have trouble in the beginning, you can stuff your thumbs or index fingers inside it, just even it out a little bit, like this. These can also stand nicely like this, or you can lay them down. For the third ones, it's very easy to just stack them like this. I usually have them next to each other in my dresser so that they're easy to pick out. Same with underwear and socks as well, obviously. Yeah, let's do a long sleeve shirt next. So what I wanted to mention is that for hoodies, it's a little bit different. I'm going to show you a special one for hoodies afterwards, but just let's do this long sleeve shirt first. So this is gonna work for sweaters as well as, yeah, anything really. The only thing that you need to keep in mind when you're doing this with sweaters or something, they can crease up a little bit, but if you don't care that much about creases, you know, you can do this. Make sure that all the buttons are buttoned up first of all. And then from here, we're gonna make the pocket at the bottom as well. These are a little bit larger than t-shirts. Usually you can get away with the same amount of fabric, you know, 4 inches or so at the bottom here, like this. Again, I'm gonna make sure that the backside is lined up nicely here as well. Let's fold the arms in as well. Fold one over to the other side first, like this. And then let the other side overlap it completely, like so. I'm going to split it into 4 parts this time, instead of 3 parts. Then you will get a little bit of a longer roll, but it will be thinner as well. I like it for these ones. Folding in 1/4 of the way first on one side, like this. Let me fold the other side in as well, like so. And as you can see, this one is pretty creased up from being rolled and smooshed. I have had it in a packing cube, that's why. Once you've made it to this point, you can see we created a line down here as well, but it's a little bit wider than the t-shirt, which we folded in 3 parts instead of 4 parts. So let me just turn it around here again so that I have the pocket facing away from me. So just start rolling it up again. If you have a regular sweater, just skip over the part with the pocket here and just roll it gently up like this. So once you made it to this point, again, we're gonna lift it up with one hand and flip it over with the other. Turn it around and do it on the other side as well. And you can kind of even it out like usual. One thing I will say though, that these 4, when you fold it in 4ths instead of 3rds, they do become a little bit long, so it's not as easy to have them standing up, especially not on their own. You can do it, especially when they get support of the walls, or if you have something like these ones. This is IKEA Skub. I usually promote these. I'm gonna add a link down to Amazon or something if you want to purchase this. So you can place it like this, that's fine. But the problem that appears then is that it's too tall for to close the dresser. So usually I like to fold it in 3rds if you want to leave it standing up, and these ones you just lay them down So this is going to work for hoodies as well as for hooded jackets. It doesn't really crease up as much as the one with the Ranger roll. This is like an alternative to the Ranger roll, really. It's not really a Ranger roll, but I prefer it for hoodies. So what we're going to do first here is just lay it with the back facing up this time. And the big difference with this fold is that we're not going to make the pocket at the bottom. We're going to use the hood instead to wrap it inside. So just fold over the arms on both sides like this. Again, you can split it into 3 parts if you want to. I like to do 4ths for the long sleeve shirts. Up to you, really. So folding in one side 1/4 of the way, and the other side 1/4 of the way as well. All right, so from here, you're probably starting to catch on. We're going to start by rolling it up from the bottom all the way up to the base of the hood. If you're into this type of stuff, by the way, I have a lot more on the channel, like a lot more. If you're into that, you can check out the channel. If you really like it, you can consider subscribing as well. I do a lot of these videos. So once you made it up here, you're going to take the hood and you're going to wrap it inside out over this roll, like so. If you have a hoodie that is not very old and has lost its little string, you can also tighten it up and make a little bow on it. That will secure it even further. This is fine as well, usually. So let me show you how to do this on a collared shirt as well. One thing I will say though is that if you really want to avoid creases, you're better off hanging them up. For travel, however, this is a great alternative. Yeah, but you can see it does crease a little bit. So keep that in mind. We're going to start out obviously by closing up all the buttons. Whether you want to leave the buttons on the collar closed or flip it up is really up to you. It doesn't make a difference for the fold. Either way, next step is to turn it on the back side so that the back is facing up like this. And from here, we are going to fold it in half actually. So down the middle here. So this is going to leave a slight crease as well, very little crease though. So fold it over in half like this. A trick here that I am going to show you is that you can actually lift it up like this, shake it a little bit. It will make it a lot easier to make sure everything is nice and even. Lay it back down here like this. Next step is that we're going to take the arms. So if you have a short sleeved shirt, say for example a polo shirt or even a short sleeved, you know, your regular buttoned shirt, you can just fold it over like this. That will be fine. For this long sleeved ones, we're going to need to fold it down like this. Try to get it as nice and even on both sides as possible. And then as what's becoming a common theme here is that we're going to start rolling it up. So start at the bottom here and roll it. Obviously you want to be very gentle with shirts as they tend to crease. You may want to iron it afterwards if it gets really wrinkled as well. Like this, rolling it all the way up like this. Once you make it to this point, I like to let it rest on the collar. And if you're going to take it traveling, I have these elastic bands that I can put on it. Usually I don't travel a lot with these, but it's a welcome addition. So something like this works just fine. All right, next let's have a look at some shorts. There are 2 ways to roll shorts. You can either just fold it over in half like this and roll it up like these ones were. I would do that for shorts like these, as they can crease up a little bit with the next roll, which is a Ranger roll for shorts. This is very similar to the boxers in that we're going to make a pocket at the top here first, by flipping the waistband inside out, or the waist I should say. You want to make sure that you give it a little bit more room. So depending on the fabric of the short, of course, if you have running shorts or swimming shorts, something with thin fabric, you don't need as much room here. But for something like these cotton shorts or denim shorts, you want to give it a lot of room. What's this? Maybe 12, 15 centimeters, something along those lines should be fine. Once you've done that, make sure that all the pockets are stuffed inside nicely, and we are going to fold it over in half from side to side like this. And at this point we have to fold in this little crotch part as well. This will create a slight crease on the side that you fold it down on, just be aware of that. So let's turn it around like this so that we have the pocket facing away from us, and from here we are going to start rolling it up from the bottom up towards the top like this, and rolling, rolling, rolling. Once we make it to the top, I'm going to lift it up with one hand like this. And it can be a little bit tough to do this on shorts, so just practice a couple of times. You want to flip it over on one side first, turn it around, and flip it over on the other side as well, like this. And again, you probably need to put your thumbs inside here and stretch it out a little bit. Make sure that they're all friends in there, and just massage it a little bit. And you have a beautifully folded shorts. Ta-da! Next, let's take a look at some pants here. This isn't a Ranger roll, but it's a much better alternative. You can do something similar to the shorts as well with the pants if you want to, but I like to do this alternative. It's a lot more similar to what we did with the socks. So I'm going to start out by placing the pants down with the front facing up. And I, of course, have chosen the worst pants in the world to do this video with. These have holes in them, but I'm doing this in one take, so let's just continue here. So the first thing I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna fold the pants over in half from side to side like this. And once you have done that, make sure that everything is nice and even. And I'm gonna take the top leg here and I'm gonna fold it out 90 degrees at about the knee. You can go a little bit lower as well if you want to, like this. And then again, we have to fold in the crotch area here, like this. And we are going to start rolling it up from the, or rolling it down, I should say, from the waist. And we roll, 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 roll. Fold it over this little crotch area here. Roll it down. Once you make it to the part with the knee here, you want to make sure that the knee doesn't fall down as you roll over it. Just hold on to it. Hold on to me. And then we make it to the bottom here. And I am going to take the whole thing, roll here, hold on to it, make sure it doesn't unravel, and lift it up like this. And if you kept a keen look when I did this with the socks, we're going to do the same here for the pants, in that I'm going to flip it over the entire roll, like this. So just be gentle with it. This is skinny jeans, of course, so it takes some coaxing to get over there, like this. And you can just make it into a beautiful jean rose, I guess. This is fantastic. If you have jeans that flare out at the bottom, you can also do the regular Ranger roll on these. The same goes if you have women's pants that are just too tight to wrap over. If they have any stretch in them, it's usually fine, like this. Unfortunately, I don't have any skirts or dresses on me at the time, but I have made videos on these in the past that you can check out if you want to. When you are going to stack these in your dresser, I recommend using these. It makes things a lot easier. You can place them standing off. I like to place them like this. It makes things a lot easier when you want to place them inside here. You know, you can open up, you see everything that you have, just pull it out like this. If you're going to do this for travel, I also recommend packing cubes. These are compression packing cubes, but you can get regular ones. I will link this stuff in the description if you want to see it. And if this was a little bit tough to follow along with, I have an article on my website. It's organizing.tv. It's a long URL, just put it here. It's also going to be linked in the description as well as the pinned comment up top in this video. And yeah, if you enjoy this, give it a big thumbs up. It was a lot of fun to make it. Like a knowledge dump here on you guys. So yeah, thanks for watching this one, and I'll see you next time. Alright, next let's